Lizzy Farrall. She is she emanates out of Chester. She is an indie artist. There's a reason why I'm not labeling her indie pop or indie rock, because she sits somewhere between the two. She just limbos between. She's got moments where it's like very rock, guitar, bass music, and she's got times where it goes the opposite way, where it's very, very mainstream pop sort of stuff. We'll get to all that, don't you worry. But overall, no matter what she does, if it's like pop or rock or whatever, she just puts a very dark emo. It's sometimes emo. I'm gonna fucking say it. A very dark emo influence into that indie bubble, and oftentimes it is the reason why I throw indie in there is because the lyrical content can be quite dark and depressing. We will get to that in a bit, but it's often over the top of like really jaunty songs. Like you take Games for example, and another song I'll get into more like the lyrical content for it, but it's a very upbeat, happy sounding song. But when you take apart the lyrics, it's all about like it's a shitty relationship, and I think wanting to get stabbed in Liverpool. I might be completely off, but I'm going to explain why I think that in just a little while. But first, how I got there. So I found out about Lizzy. It must have been a Bandcamp deep dive. That's what I'm looking for. And I found the song Barbados. It was the lead single from the EP coming out the same name. It was fucking good. I love that song. Really, really catchy chorus. Had that like almost like goth rock, new wave sort of influence in indie. The rest of the EP eventually came out, and I fell in love with it. I think it was my EP. I think number 2 in EPs of the year last year. Only beaten out by Blood Command. I think. Definitely top 5. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I really, really liked that EP. Really, really was looking forward to the album, which became Bruise. And very excited when it came out. I was quite gutted when I tried to pre-order the physical release and found that they had sold out. Feels bad, man, but here we are. Still get to listen to the album. Overall, musically, I hear bits of indie, as I said before. There's lots of pop in there. There's synthwave, there's shoegaze, there's new wave, lots of Ave kind of sounds we didn't realise before. Open the album up and you get Addict, and that's a massive like 80s synthy new wave kind of song. It's fucking great. But overall, all they do is just back up Lizzy's incredible vocals. The one biggest thing I fell in love with her style of music was her vocals. She can hit this like really deep, powerful notes. Like you listen to Gaslighting and Not for Six, and they're the kind of notes that when you try to sing along. I tried to figure out a way to describe this last night. I could not fucking do it, and I'm going to sound like a crazy person. But when you sing along, you can feel your throat open up to try and get more air out to really hit those like really, really low notes. And she just fucking does them seemingly with absolute ease. She can bounce that by going to like the really twinkly, high-end pop notes, like in Knight Rider and Love No More. But the kind of notes that I really, really enjoy are just the only way to describe them is big, belting notes. I try to find a contemporary, but my knowledge of female singer-songwriters is very, very minuscule. So really sorry I can't find like a comparison for her, but just listen to songs like Addict, Games, Barbados, where she can hit like really dynamic notes. And yeah, I think as a vocalist she's fucking amazing. Lyrically, this album it's a very like modern album lyrically. It covers things like relationships, depression, social anxieties. I found like myself relating to a lot of lyrics. I don't like relating to lyrics because I don't like people getting into my psyche, which I think has more of a commentary about my own brain than anything else. But I don't like people thinking that I lived with two psychologists masters, and I was always scared of saying anything in case I like construed it that I was like a Freudian wife beater or something. But there's lyrics in this album where you do kind of feel it is very relatable. I think it was Not for Six, where it opens with wanting to be alone, but not wanting to feel lonely. Which I live alone, and we're in the middle of a lockdown, so can relate, bro. And the other one was Balloon, and that's all about basically having like a social situation which you don't want to be in. Either you're just not feeling it mentally, or you just don't want to go out. And we all have those sort of days where you just don't want to go outside. We want to chill in the house and just fucking do nothing. And the narrative that I pick up on the song is all about how she wants to just go home or just not go out, and both the people around her and her own brain just keep saying, like, if you just have a drink, you'll mellow out and you'll chill out and you'll enjoy yourself, and it just never happens. And going through uni without ever drinking can relate to being in a certain social situation where you're just like, I just would rather not be here, if I'm being honest, lads. Just really would rather be home or fucking anywhere, but you know how it is. So yeah, I feel like it's very relatable lyrically. I still love the chorus to Games. When I listened to it on the EP, because it was on the Barbados EP, I feel like I might have misunderstood it. To me, it was a case of she was in a kind of boring relationship where she was always in always in a room with the partner, just chilling out. That consistent of having to do nothing in the house together, and it was a case of take me all to the pretty sights of Liverpool because I'd rather just do something, even if it means going to Liverpool. And I always thought that was like a bit of a sassy jibe against Liverpool, which, if being a football fan for 25 years and an Arsenal supporter for 25 years has taught me anything, is that you always laugh at Liverpool. How's that Premier League table doing for you boys? And going into lyrics of the album, the lyrics are, so show me all the pretty sights of Liverpool, as I'd rather be killed than play another game with you. Which to me sounds more like she would rather go to like the pretty sights of Liverpool, i.e. the places where you get shanked, because this person that she's with is so incredibly dull or just a bit of a dick. So I am always here. If I've got that right, I'm always here for this level of like dark cynicism, particularly in relationships, because I like to watch them crumble because I'm a bad person. So yeah, I might be completely wrong on all that, but that's just like, lyrics are open for interpretation, and that's what I got from it. As much as I like this album, it is not a perfect album. I think that Night Rider, which features vocals from Bradley Walden, who, if memory serves, is the vocalist for Emma Rosa. It is such a sickly sweet pop song, much in the same way as that Feel Your Strong song earlier. And I just can't hack it at all. As much as I love this album, I cannot hack it at all. It reminds me of Red era Taylor Swift, when she was going from that country pop phase into that like very contemporary pop artist. Still having that little tinges of guitars in there, but it was very much a pop sort of an album. This is what this does. You've got a little bit like the organic music, organic instruments in there. So you've got your guitars a little bit, you've got your drums, but there's so much like synthy pop in there. But I can't deal. Basically, I just did not like it as a song. It kind of feels a little bit out of place because the overall like vibe of the song is quite dark, because it is like a very dark hue on an indie pop rock kind of thing. With this being like a very shimmery pop sort of song, I felt like it's a little bit out of place. And yeah, the only other problem I've got with it, and this is a weird one, I've been trying to like explain it in my head a few times, and I might not make sense, but I'll give it a go. I am all for musicians using songs from previously like EPs released in and run up to the album. But this 10 tracks album uses 3 out of 5 songs from the EP Barbados. So on the whole, you're looking at 7 new tracks. Combined with the fact that there was 3 singles released, I think it was 3. Spotify doesn't give like release dates, I don't think. No, it just says 2020. So 2 or 3 songs released in the run-up to this album. That means of the 10 tracks on the album, around half of them have already been heard before. And it's not like Barbados was used as the lead single, because when you look at the artwork for Barbados and then the 3 singles and then the album, 3 singles follow the same art style as Bruise. So to me, although Boys Don't Cry was released first, Addict, I think, was the one that came with the music video. So I think, to me personally, Addict is the lead single for Bruise. So you're looking at, even if you took away Barbados, you've got 3 songs. You've got Boys Don't Cry, Addict, and then Not For Six released first. Having those 3 songs in the album, in a 10-track album, okay, but it's all in keeping with the album. It's all the mood of the album, it's all the theme of the album. I get that. But when you're using songs that you've already heard before, if Not For Six was indeed released first, you're looking at 6 songs that have already been heard by general populace, and there's only 4 new songs. I don't know if I'm making mountains out of molehills, or even if I'm not even getting my point across very well, but I just think if it was a 12, 13 track album, you might be able to get away with maybe like 2 songs from the EP. Maybe keep Games and Barbados. I think they fit the overall theme of the album much more than... yeah, I'd say they fit more than Balloon. But with the album being as short as it is, it's just over half an hour. Yeah, I just feel like it should have been more original material, including Addict, Not For Six, and Boys Don't Cry. If you're going to release 3 singles from a 10-track EP, maybe only use 1, if any. I get including Barbados because it was the lead single and it had like an EP dedicated around it. Yeah, that might just be me being selfish, and I wanted to have more original music from Lizzy. And I do like having singles released before an album, because when you go through the album, it is familiar territory to when you go through it all. However, when you're like familiar with most of the album before it's come out, you're only getting a few new songs. And I hope I'm getting that point across, and I hope it makes sense. And yeah, I've got no way of knowing if it was a label decision, if it was Lizzy's decision, if it was just other people have just thought it was a good idea. I might just be in the minority, and, fair fucks to that. But for me personally, I'd just rather have had more new material. Again, I might just be being incredibly selfish because I really like Lizzy Farrell as an artist, but, it's just my take. I feel like, not just keep going over the same point. They shouldn't have had so many songs already known by general public before the album came out. It's just me. But outside of that really weird, convoluted, niggling point, I really, really like this album. In terms of like separating albums from like end of year lists, rock music, and then like stuff outside the alternative world, I still think it sits outside the alternative world, and I think it might be one of like the best non-rock and metal albums that I've heard. At least this year, so far this year. I really, really enjoy Lizzy as an artist, and just look forward to what comes next. The album is called Bruise, like the thing when you keep knocking your fucking computer table. It's by Lizzy Farrall. Please go listen to it. She's such an incredible singer, and I don't know why I was going to say and. I didn't have an end point.